Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to National Action Network Saturday Action Rally. We're coming to you live on WLIB, 1190 AM in New York. We're streaming to you across the country on a number of platforms, including Facebook and nationalactionnetwork.net. We are live right here in the House of Justice, 106 West 145th Street. Call somebody. Tell them the action is on the air. The Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton is in the house and getting ready to come to you. We're so pleased that you are with us on this Saturday morning, because if you hear the cry of no justice, no peace, you know this is where the action is. Our president and founder is the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. Chairman of our board is the Reverend Dr. W. Franklin Richardson, senior pastor of Grace Baptist Church in Mount Vernon, New York. I'm attorney Michael Hardy. Will be with you throughout the broadcast this morning. We are so pleased to have with us today for our inspirational word segment, Pastor Cora Washington, assistant pastor, New Mount Zion Baptist Church in the great village of Harlem. As we continue Women's History Month, we are pleased again to have our Women's History Month segment, and that'll be coming up to you. Of course, if it's Saturday, our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson, is in the house. And if it's Saturday, our coordinator of all things here at National Action Network and coordinator, the Reverend Sharpton, will be here to ask you what's on your mind. That's right. She wants to know what you're thinking about. There's so much going on all across the world, across the country, within your own community, with your own home. There's something that you should be thinking about that's on your mind that you want to share with Katrina Jefferson. Of course, it's Saturday, and so Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton is in the house, and we'll have some special guests with us today, including the family of Tyree Nichols, attorney Benjamin Crump, and the first woman fire commissioner in the city of New York, Commissioner Laura Kavanaugh. So, of course, and the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. So there's a lot going on. Call somebody, tell them the action is on the air. The Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton is in the house and getting ready to come to you. Brothers and sisters, we always remind you that the NAN Youth Huddle will meet on Monday, March 20th at 6 p.m. You want to make sure that you spread the word and get into the action with our youngest and brightest dreamers of today and leaders of tomorrow. For more information on the Youth Huddle experience, you can call 877-626-4651, or you can email nanyouthhuddle@gmail.com. Of course, today, 5 p.m., tomorrow, Sunday, 5 p.m., you want to make sure that you're tuning in to MSNBC's Politics Nation with Al Sharpton. That's today, Saturday, 5 p.m., tomorrow, Sunday, 5 p.m. Tune in to MSNBC's Politics Nation with Al Sharpton. Right now, Dr. Alvin Ponder, Vice President of the New York City chapter, is going to come and give you some additional information. Let's welcome.
Thank you, Attorney Hardy. Good morning, brothers and sisters, and thank you for tuning in to another Saturday Action Rally with the National Action Network. Here's some information to keep you in the know. Family of Tyree Nichols to attend NAN Saturday Rally today. Reverend Al Sharpton and NAN welcomes the family of Tyree Nichols and attorney Ben Crump to the House of Justice today. Last month, Reverend Sharpton delivered the eulogy for the 29-year-old father who was fatally beaten to death by Memphis police in January. The disturbing incident shook the nation and renewed calls to pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. The U.S. Department of Justice has also begun an examination of the Memphis Police Department. A Tennessee judge halted the release of more body camera footage, documents, and other evidence last week after a last-minute request by an attorney for one of the 5 cops charged with murdering Nichols. Reverend Sharpton condemned the decision, urging transparency in the investigation. Today, Reverend Sharpton will also recognize the New York City Fire Department Commissioner Laura Kavanaugh as part of Women's History Month. Last fall, New York City Mayor Eric Adams named Kavanaugh to permanently lead the department, becoming the first woman to hold the position after serving as acting commissioner since February 2022. Kavanaugh has focused on diversifying the department, which has historically lacked Black, Latino, and female members. Register today for the National Convention in response of the continued and concerted efforts to undermine democracy in the United States. Reverend Al Sharpton will host the 2023 National Action Network Annual Convention in New York City from April 12th through April 15th to galvanize the civil rights and social justice movement. To that end, NAN has called upon the nation's top government officials, entertainers, activists, scholars, media personalities, and financiers to develop real solutions to keep Dr. Martin Luther King's dream for an equal, just America alive and strong. Reverend Sharpton said, quote, "The theme of this year's convention is dealing with the dream under threat because Dr. King's vision for America is being rapidly blurred by those who want to take away our rights. We are seeing the impacts at the ballot box. We see the impacts in the doctor's office and in the classroom. The NAN convention has always focused on how moving our civil rights movement forward. But this year particularly demands that we bring the top of the top together to create a coalition that not only preserves that dream, but makes it as clear as ever. The timing of this year's convention is especially significant. NAN members will meet just a week after the 55th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. King, and on the eve of the 60th anniversary of the historic March on Washington. Now hear this, listen. Panels, plenary addresses, and events will all be rooted in the need to empower Black Americans during this vital time. More than a dozen top officials in the Biden administration are confirmed to appear during the 4-day summit, reflecting the White House partnership with NAN on several initiatives for Black America the last 2 years. The convention will also feature entertainers Kerry Washington and Tyler Perry, the mothers of the movement, news figures Michelle Miller and Lawrence O'Donnell, business titans Robert F. Smith and Irvin Magic Johnson, and leaders of the Black church, including my pastor, Reverend Dr. W. Franklin Richardson, chairman of NAN and the Conference of National Black Churches. The conference is free. Did I say the conference is free? It is free and open to the public, but you must register at www.nationalactionnetwork.net or just call us. We'll register you for you at 877-626-4651. I said that too fast. 877-626-4651. Welcome to all of you who have tuned in and joined us also via live stream at www.nationalactionnetwork.net and also live on Facebook on the National Action Network. If this is your first time joining us and or if you're not a member, we welcome you to NAN and invite you to join us and get into the action today. For more information and to join, you may visit again www.nationalactionnetwork.net or just call us at 877-626-4651 or just text the word NAN, N-A-N, to 59769. Welcome.
All right, thank you, Dr. Ponder. Right now, brothers and sisters, Katrina Jefferson, Senior Liaison to the President of National Action Network, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton, and as I said, the coordinator of all things here at National Action Network, wants to know what's on your mind. Good morning.
Good morning, Attorney Hardy, and good morning to each and every one of you who are here live here at the House of Justice. To those that are watching by way of live streaming on our Facebook pages and on our website, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, and to those that are listening by way of WLIB 1190 AM, welcome to another weekend's conversation of What's on Your Mind, where you, the people, you, the community, have the opportunity to interact with us here at the National Action Network by sharing your thoughts and viewpoints. And you can send an email to what's on your mind at nationalactionnetwork.net. Again, that email address is what's on your mind at nationalactionnetwork.net. Or you may call us at 877-626-4651. Or if you happen to be in the New York City area, you can join us live here at the Saturday Action Rally. We've got a robust line here this morning. We're going to go ahead and start. I'm going to ask in advance if everybody could be brief so that we can get through everyone. Good morning. Give us your name. Let us know where you're from and briefly share with us what's on your mind.
Good day, everybody, and God bless everybody. My name is Sister Reverend Word. I'm from Heaven Born in Harlem. I'm 71 years old and new. Of course, what's on my mind is Bible scriptures. Christ Jesus definitely supported democracy and definitely supported women. He chose a woman first to preach the gospel that he is risen. I know for a fact that there's some women who are great communicators. So those women who believe that we are great communicators, start using your voice, raise your voice, that we must support democracy, we must vote, because it's very necessary to keep that focus. Please, ladies, do our best. God bless you.
Thank you so much. In honor of Women's History Month, good morning. Give us your name. Let us know where you're from and briefly share with us what's on your mind.
Good morning. My name is Michelle Blomenville, and I'm here for Lead for Humanity with my my co-worker Marie from Ohio. What's on my mind is the fact that slavery is being trying to be kept in our community. There's something called organized stalking, and they are accessing our homes and our biometrics through remote technology.
And how can people get in contact with you or get additional information regarding this?
They can get in contact through 347-535-7656. Right now, I have a forensic in New York, and she is doing scanning. If anybody is experiencing this, they can contact me at that number. Again, the number is 347-535-7656.
Thank you so much for sharing. Good morning. Give us your name. Let us know where you're from, and let us know what's on your mind.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Al Sharpton, for this opportunity. And today we are here, my sister and I. We cannot stop fighting for Bernard Placide, my son, who was killed September 3rd by 3 police officers in Englewood. That's mean March 28th at the council meeting at 7 p.m. The address is 75 South Van Main Street in Englewood, New Jersey, 07631. We would like everyone to come to support us because we have to fight for justice for Bernard. No justice, no peace.
And if you are listening and you would like to attend, give us a call here at the network, 877-626-4651. We'll ensure to have that information for you. Thank you so much for sharing. Good morning. Give us your name. Let us know where you are from and what's on your mind.
Good morning. My name is Tony Veer. I'm from the South Bronx. And what's on my mind is I was just watching a video of a few years ago with Reverend Al was in Congress being interviewed. Well, no, he wasn't being interviewed. He was being verbally abused by Representative Matt Gaetz. And what came to mind to me was a distinction that I'm present to called WATT, W-A-T-T. It stands for Why Are They Talking? And now the question is, are they talking to add to the conversation, subtract from the conversation, multiply the opportunities and the power in the conversation, or subtract the people and divide the conversations? And I realized that we actually need to know how to do that Well, we're dealing with law, politics, military, police, all of that. So remember, what? Why are they talking? Ask yourself that. Stay awake, stay conscious. And that's what I got.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Queen Mother. Let us know your name, where you are from, and share with us what's on your mind.
I'm Reverend Crump Goddess Kennedy, one of the founders of National Action Network, originally from Saratoga Springs, New York, and now abiding here in the Boogie Down Bronx. What's on my mind is the convention is coming up. I want to see everybody's face in the place. I like to see more people supporting our young people on Monday nights. We're here at the huddle, and you out there that are listening, bring your children, your grandchildren, great-grandchildren, whatever. But we're here every Monday, and I'd just like to see more people attending. And also, y'all sign up. Don't miss this convention, because you'll be missing. Because this year, we're not only volunteers, we are ambassadors, because people are coming from all over the world.
And I like that. We're going to call everybody ambassadors this year. So if you would like to be a part of the Ambassador Brigade for National Action Network's annual convention, you can give us a call at 877-626-4651. Mention the word ambassador or volunteer, and we'll make sure to get you plugged in and connected to all that we are doing here at the network. All right, got an announcement from our Political Action Committee. March is National Social Work Month in addition to Women's History Month. And you can join the NAN Political Action Committee Saturday, March 18th, which is today at 11:30 a.m. for their Saturday meeting. The purpose of the meeting is a debriefing of everything that they've been doing this month to talk about Bernard Placid Jr.'s police brutality case in Inglewood and the NAN Disability Committee March being National Development Disabilities Awareness Month. And also they're going to introduce a forum series happening here at NAN. For additional information, you can give us a call at 877-626-4651. We're going to close with an email from our very own Rodney Jones, as it is Women's History Month, regarding, I believe her name is Jarena Lee. And our very own Pastor Bird, I'm sure, knows her very well. Jarena Lee was the first woman preacher or female preacher in the African Methodist Episcopal Church. Born into a free black family in New Jersey, Lee asked the founder of the AME Church, Richard Allen, to be a preacher. Now, although Allen initially refused, after hearing her preach in 1819, Allen approved her preaching ministry. A leader in the Wesleyan holiness movement, Lee preached the doctrine of entire sanctification as an itinerant pastor throughout the pulpits of the African Methodist Episcopal denomination. In 1836, Lee became the first African-American woman to publish her autobiography. Lee is recognized as being the first woman preacher to preach in the African Methodist Episcopal Church. Her life story exemplifies the 19th century American religious movement's focus on personal holiness and sanctification. She has been compared to influential African-American women of her time, such as Maria W. Stewart and Sojourner Truth. In the decades after Jarena Lee became a preacher, other women, such as Julianne Jane Tillman, gained prominence as evangelists within the AME Church. And that was submitted by our very own Rodney Jones out of Queens, New York. And that concludes this weekend's conversation of What's on Your Mind. Keep in mind, everything you heard here were simply the thoughts and the viewpoints of the contributors and do not reflect those of the National Action Network directly. And you can interact with us 24 hours a day. Yes, I said 24. By sending an email to What's on Your Mind at nationalactionnetwork.net. Again, that email address is What's on Your Mind at nationalactionnetwork.net, or you may call us at 877-626-4651. And as we've been closing every segment with a quote by one of our fearless female leaders across this country, in the words of the great Dr. Bishop of Holiness, Beyonce, who runs the world? Girls. Happy Women's History Month and enjoy the rest of your Saturday Action Rally experience. Back to you, Attorney Hardy.
All right, Katrina Jefferson, thank you so much for What's on Your Mind. And what's on my mind right now is Tisha Hunter, our Nan Change Choir soloist, all under the direction of Minister Tyrone Richardson.
Good morning, NAN family,
Amen.
A change, oh, a change has come over me. He changed
My life, and
now I'm free. He washed away all of my sins and he made me whole. He washed. I'm so glad he washed me white as snow. He changed my life completely, and now I sit at his feet to do what must be done. I'm gonna work and work until my change comes. A wonderful change has come over. A wonderful change. He changed my life complete, and now I sit at the Savior's feet, to do what must be done. I'm gonna work and work and work and work and work. Change. I'm so glad he changed. Anybody glad for the change? Yeah. I'm not where I wanna be, but thank God I'm not what I used to be. I'm so glad. Yeah. Changed my heart, and he gave me a brand new start. I'm so glad he changed. I'm so glad he changed. Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad he changed. A wonderful change has come over. A wonderful change has come over me. Come on, give him praise.
That is Tisha Hunter, our Nan Change Choir soloist, all under the direction of Minister Tyrone Richardson, our musical director here at National Action Network. Right now, brothers and sisters, we will continue our celebration of Women's History Month, and we're happy to have, as hosting the segment this week, Nancy Darlene Crawford, recording secretary of the Women's Auxiliary here at National Action Network. Welcome her.
Greetings and good morning, National Action Network. The women of Nan are in the house and we are on the move. Connecting, that's right, give it up, give it up. Connecting, supporting, and uplifting the movement and our causes, and activating women on the ground to be engaged and involved in the change we wish to see. The Women's Auxiliary of National Action Network's New York City chapter is an active component of the nation's leading civil rights organization under the leadership of the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. We organize to energize women in the city to show up, be involved, and have a voice. We support the chapter and the leadership in ways that work to sustain the network and its grounds, and we work to connect and empower the next generation for success. Whether it's giving away at our annual holiday baskets to families in need during the holiday season, having forums for the community that address our concerns around health care, family preservation, mental health, financial empowerment, or honoring community leaders at our 25th annual Women of Excellence, Men of Vision Awards. And let me put a pin right there. Next Saturday, right here in the House of Justice, we will be having our awards ceremony, and we invite you to come and be a part. Tickets are $75, and if you would like to purchase a ticket, I would advise you to do so because they are going fast. So please see our president, Sister Lisa Goldie Harps, after the rally, and you can purchase your ticket. Please come and be a part. Now, back to what I was doing. We also give our youth scholarships for college through the Kathy Jordan Sharpton Scholarship Fund. The Women's Auxiliary of NAN is committed to work daily in empowering our communities and nurture the next generation for success. We invite you to join and support the Women's Auxiliary and help lift our women up. Women who have been in the movement are pillars for many generations. We meet every first Saturday of the month, immediately following the Saturday Action Rally. For more information on how to join us, please call 1-877-626-4651. Today, the Women's Auxiliary is wearing shades of orange in its meaning of positive, cheerful energy and peace. And in the words of our founder, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a woman. Think about it. Think about it. I have the distinguished honor to present our speaker for this morning. An experienced leader in education, Kavita Jarganeth Ocasio is in her 10th year as the principal of PS 175 Henry Highland Garnett, an elementary school community of over 300 multicultural learners serving preschool through grade 5 children here in the heart of Harlem. Under leadership of Principal Ocasio, the school has built upon its storied history in Harlem, which also embarking on numerous new initiatives to better serve the students and family of the school as well as the community. These include becoming a DOE community school designated as gifted and talented program starting in 2022 with kindergarten and consistently increasing by grade, a computer science for all school, pre-K for all school, teaching academy fellowship school, and more. Principal Ocasio has leveraged her experience as a teacher, instructional coach, assistant principal, and principal to forge new community and school partnerships in Harlem, which include the National Action Network, Columbia University Ballet, Morningside Center, New York Police Department 32nd Precinct, and the Anti-Defamation League. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our speaker this morning, Principal Kavita Jarganeth Ocasio.
Good morning. Thank you, thank you. I'm joining the over 40 club, so I have glasses now. So thank you, and it's very, very pleasant to be in community with everyone here today. A special thank you to Ms. Gina Williams and Ms. Barbara Rickett for extending the invitation for us to be here today. As I stand here before you, I am the daughter of immigrant parents, Dr. and Mrs. Ayoda and Lilauti Jagannath, migrated here from Guyana, South America, under the guise of opportunity. And the word opportunity, as we've come to know it, means just having a good chance for advancement or progress. And with that, the leadership, the team and I at PS 175 work every day to provide those opportunities to our students. So as a minority, as an immigrant, and as a female, my core value has always been to ground my work in equity. But equity as it represents equal access for all. It is a call, everyone, to promote inclusion. Because as we know, equal opportunity is not always enough. It is rooted in the beliefs that actions must be equitable, and equitable actions must lead into transformation. As a female leader in our school, I am aware of my responsibilities that I have to not only my students, but to my staff and to my community. I carry forward the message of women that lead with integrity in order to motivate and move future generations. Embracing equity within our school means understanding that our job is to not only create the playing field, but to level the playing field for all of our students. Through our school's many partnerships, our students benefit from, again, opportunities to advance themselves by engaging in resources and providing supports that they need. Some of these include our very own Dr. Ponder, who is a volunteer through the National Action Network's Educational Committee. If you didn't know, Dr. Ponder volunteers his time twice a week to support our 5th grade students in the activities that they do on a day-to-day basis. And we thank you, Dr. Ponder. We also partner with New York City Mission Society, New York Harlem Giants, Harlem Hospital, NYPD, Morningside Center for Restorative Justice, Hunter College, City Universities, and Columbia University's ballet programs. As you can see, we provide multifaceted opportunities for our students that are both enriching and extending activities that accentuate the academic needs. It is also very important to me to bring forth amazing women who are always making positive impacts by creating a unified and a stronger Harlem community. Forming partnerships with these women and their organizations is important not only for our female students, but all of our students and our 175 families. These include our very own CEC liaison, Ms. Gina Williams, who's here today. Harlem Mothers Save, Ms. Jackie Rowe, who is always a staple at our graduations. And Marie Sancier, the artist who, if you ever drive by 135th Street, you see that beautiful portrait, Harlem Renaissance, created by our children in conjunction with her studio. She worked 1 month, 1 full month in the summer with our children to create that landscape for our community to revel in. Equally important is for me to lift up my staff, many of who are here today, and build upon their talents to become leaders and educators that serve our children, which ultimately serve our community. Our staff show up and work diligently, and they are present in every moment to provide these enriching learning activities and opportunities. Again, opportunities to be better and take advantage of progressing for our students. Not only do we offer robust after-school academies, special education recovery services, specialized small group instruction, and English as a native language services, but we also offer the fun things like ballet and robotics, right? And lastly, as the mother to Kaylee and Chris, I understand the importance of balancing family, work, career, and being involved in their schooling. Because it is not only up to the schools to raise our children, it is always about the partnership, the home-school partnerships. At 175, we support our parents Every Tuesday, we have parent engagement celebrations that we work in conjunction with New York City Mission Society to provide opportunities for parents and children and teachers to engage in meaningful activities. We have online parent workshops, weekly parent engagement time with parents, and lots of online support for both parents and students. Our district superintendent, who was a previous guest of yours, Dr. Sean Davenport, has created what he calls the district and the Mecca of education. And as a community, he expects us, and I am here to share his message in being mindful in that creating relationships must be about restoration and healing as a community. In excellence, not only in leadership, but in best instructional practices, in capacity building, growing skills and abilities across for all stakeholders, collaborating, which means co-creating, co-liberation, and equity and inclusivity. And lastly, as I've shared, putting all of that into actionable next steps so that all of our decisions are around progress monitoring and being data-driven. In conclusion, I really want to thank all of you for the opportunity to share our students' voices, that we are the conduit where we promote, and if we continue to not only acknowledge the challenges we face here in our Harlem community, but to focus on actionable steps to support our children. Thank you.
All right, we want to thank you for that. And for those that don't know, PS 175 is where National Action Network held its first rallies. Our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson.
All right.
Tyrone Richardson, our musical director here at National Action Network. Brothers and sisters, we are so pleased to have with us today for our inspirational word segment, Pastor Cora Washington, Assistant Pastor Mount Zion in the great village of Harlem. Let's welcome.
Praise the Lord, everybody. Praise the Lord, everybody. Truly, the Lord is good. I do honor the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton for giving me this opportunity, as well as my pastor, who is my dad, Reverend Carl L. Washington Jr., and the entire New Mount Zion family. I do honor each and every one of you on today. I do come just to bring a word and lift a word from the second chapter of Luke chapter 2. And I'm only going to read one verse in your hearing, and it reads this way. And coming in that instant, she gave thanks to the Lord and spoke of him to all those who looked for redemption in Jerusalem. She spoke of him to all those who look for redemption in Jerusalem. This is the word of the Lord. And just for a brief moment, I'd like to talk on this thought: focus on the mission. Focus on the mission. Life has a way of attempting to distract us from what's important. Distractions, disagreements, and dysfunction attempt to destroy, distort, and deviate us from focusing on the mission. Dogs, bully clubs, water hoses, whippings, and lynchings were used to attempt to deter us from the mission. Though these tactics have changed to now use mass incarceration, mass media, and mass manipulation, the point remains to keep us off the mission. If we could just lose focus, if we could not pay attention for just a second, if we could not be reminded of the black and brown bodies that lie dying in our streets, then maybe, just maybe, we can find ourselves separated and deviated from a point where we can actually cause change. Where we find here is a beautiful woman situated herself inside of the temple. This woman, Anna, the prophetess, finds herself in this moment described as a widow, as having no one, as having no support, as having no one to uplift her, as having no one to encourage her. And oftentimes our society will have us to believe that as black and brown people, we have no one. There is no one to uplift us, no one to encourage us, no one to remind us of who God in fact called us to be, because we are deemed by society as a widow, as one not having a family that will show up, as one not having a family who will indeed come to their rescue. This woman still finds herself serving God, because even though society has cast her out, she knows she is not alone. Even though society has rejected her, she knows that there is still something inside of her that has to give God just a little bit of praise for the little bit that she's got. Do I have about 3 witnesses who will say, I could give God praise for the little bit that I have? I don't have much. I know that society has casted me out. I know that they want to see me dead in the street, but yet and still I came to serve. This woman comes to serve God in the midst of what she is going through. And while she is serving God in the midst of her pain, in the midst of her turmoil, as she was cast out as a young girl, only having been married 7 years, and in her society, that it was not enough that she had gone through this process. It was not enough that she had grief weighing her down. It was not enough that she was in this moment all by herself, but the fact still remains that people look down on her because she was a woman. She was a woman without the comfort and protection of a man. And oftentimes we like to believe that this is what we need. This is what we ought to be looking for. But Anna lifts up this moment that that is not what you need at all. You need to be reminded that someone still will come and show up and come to your rescue, even in the midst of your pain, even in the midst of your grief. You can still serve. You can still worship. You can still lift up your hands. And so she gives God thanks as she sits in this moment, but she didn't understand that this time when she entered in, her situation would not stay the same way that it was when she came in. Her situation would be changed. Her situation would be remedied. Her situation will be altered because indeed somebody else had stepped on the scene. When Jesus steps in the temple, when Jesus is presented as a baby, this woman gets a little touch from God that she is reminded that she is indeed not alone. And we stand as the National Action Network to declare to the Bernard family, you're not alone, because God has not left you alone. God has not left you by yourself, but God has indeed sent the Messiah to stand on your behalf. God has indeed sent someone to declare a word that will shed light on your situation and remind you that you are indeed not alone. So focus on the mission, for a change will indeed come.
Pastor Cora Washington, Assistant Pastor, Mount Zion Baptist Church in the great village of Harlem. Brothers and sisters, I want you to get on your feet right now for the president and founder of the National Action Network, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. Justice. No justice. No justice. No justice. What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? When do we want it? 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 Fist bump the person next to you. Tell them you love them. In the 19th century, there was a young man who had been born into slavery, never knew his father was, assumed his father was his slave master. His father, slave master, sold him to his cousins in Maryland, and that young man
escaped from slavery and went and came north. Young man joined the abolitionist movement. And though he was born a slave, he ended up dying one of the greatest figures in American history because he never stopped fighting against slavery. Some of y'all fight for a season. Some of y'all fight while the media is here. But some of us fight in season and out of season because we know if we keep on fighting, your change will come.
Your change will come. Your change. Do you believe it? Your change will come. Your change. Oh, change will. Oh, change will.
As I was reading about all of these investigations on Donald Trump, I thought about how a few years back, 1990 and 1991, somewhere in there, a lady called me and said that they arrested my son, accused him of being one of 5 that raped a white female in Central Park. I said, yeah, I saw it. She said, but Reverend, he didn't do it. I said, well, how do you know? She says, I know my son. He didn't do it. And I wish you'd stand up for him. And we did. They called us everything but a child of God. Did cartoons on me. I was a little fatter then, Ms. Vaughn. But we stood up for them. They went to jail, convicted of coerced statements. But after doing 13 years, they had to let him out because one guy in his cell talked to his cellmate. And they were just talking about other things, and the cellmate started bragging. Attorney Crump knows some of y'all get in jail and start hanging yourself. After the lawyer done got you out, you mess yourself up. And he told him, you know, them guys never did that years ago. I did. And they took him out the cell because the cellmate, to get an advantage, told on him, figuring he'd get himself out. And they checked the DNA and found out it matched the girl that had been raped. So they had to let those 5 guys go. One of them had done 13 and a half years. When he got out, he joined National Action Network, made a settlement. And even though they made a settlement for millions of dollars, he comes to the network every Saturday morning. I said to him one Saturday, I said, Carrie, why are you here every Saturday? You got a lot of money now, and you lost a lot of time. He said, because I remember every Saturday I got up in the joint. I had to look at bars. And now I can sing with the choir. And I can talk to my friends. So I got a different kind of Saturday. He here this morning. Come up here. Carrie Weiss is here to tell you. Carrie Weiss is here to tell you, if you hold on a little while longer, your change will
come. Your change. Just hang on in there. Your change. Oh, yes, it will. Your change. Oh, change will. Oh, change will. Oh, your change will come. Your change. Don't you give up. Your change will come. Your change. Oh, your change. Yes, it will. Your change. Oh, change will. Oh, change will.
All right, thank you. Our National Action Network Change Ensemble. Give them a big hand. Give him a big hand. Certainly, we're happy to be with you another Saturday morning for the Saturday Action Network Saturday Morning Action Rally. For you that are here live at the House of Justice, 106 West 145th Street, 145th Street in the village of Harlem. And for you that are listening live on 1190 WLIB AM in New York, and for you that are watching on various platforms, media platforms around the country, we're happy to be with you another Saturday morning to give our report on where the action is. Give a hand to our presider, Attorney Michael Hardy. Our musical director, Minister Tyrone Richardson. Get a drummer some in our little orchestra. Got a lot of ground I want to cover, so I'm going to move quickly. We're going to deal with a lot of issues. Let me also say that I want to salute the women, the women's auxiliary. I come out the gym about 5:45 this morning, and Ashley texted me and said, y'all's color today was orange, so I wore my orange tie. I take instructions. Even though I know that Ashley probably was just coming in, she wasn't getting up that early to work out. I remember I told Morning Joe, I said, I don't understand why my daughter, my youngest daughter, loved your show, so she see it from 6 to 7 in the morning when she was at Hampton University. And I later found out when I visited in Hampton, they'd be just coming back to the dorm at 5 in the morning. I thought she was getting up, she was getting ready to lay down. I'm gonna pay for that after the rally. Let me say, and I'm getting ready to, I want to deal with a city issue, and then we are honored to have the parents of Tyree Nichols, Ravon Wells, Rodney Wells. Give them a hand. We're going to hear from them in a minute. Welcome them to Harlem, y'all. And of course, they're here with mother of Eric Gardner, who's been talking with them in the back, Gwen Carr, the Prasad family's here. Y'all stand up. All of these families that understand each other's pain. And we're honored to have the Attorney General of Black America, Attorney Ben Crump, in the house. And we're glad to have him, and glad is Nolan. Where y'all at? I got Nolan's here in the house. You need to talk to Crump while you're here, because we're getting ready to march for Nolan. All right. All right. We're going to hear from them. But one of the things, even before I get into this New York City issue, we are honored to have in the house the deputy mayor. Is in that, where is he at? Phil Banks. Come on up here. Deputy Mayor Philip Banks. And he got out in the audience because he's used to coming to the House of Justice, but since I want to deal with something today, I want him up here. Sit up here next to Attorney Hardy. I know he ain't got... Some folk I would tell you, I don't know if I would need you to be photographed with, but you can be photographed with Hardy. He's clean. One of the things that has been of concern to us in New York, in the black community for a long time, has been the fire department and the lack of fairness and the lack of dealing with the levels of high-level performing, high-level power positions in the fire department. I can remember as long as I've been an activist that we talked about breaking through that wall for women, blacks, browns. And it was one of the hardest things to do in the city. And no one knew it better and knows it better than Mayor Eric Adams, who was an activist with us dealing with that, and he was in the police department. We continue to have that problem. I've been talking, and some of our staff with the Vulcan Society, who's been pushing hard on this even now and want to see more done. But one of the things that I think has been unfair that I wanted to state for National Action Network is when the mayor appointed Laura Kavanaugh as fire chief, and she began making some promotions. Some of the old entrenched folks that feel that they own their position rather than they serve the city came after her. And I wanted her to know today that we are all for shaking up how you do things, because the way the deal has been in the past cannot continue to happen. We need to open it up and make it fair. All she's talking about is making it fair. And I want her to continue to work work with the Vulcan Society, all of them, to bring in more of us. But we cannot have them try to handcuff what she's doing like they own a position. We need the fire department to represent and reflect the demographics of the city and open to everybody. And I think that that is where she has committed, and that is why I wanted her here this morning. A lot of folk are your friends when you get announced, but when you get denounced, they're not there. I wanted her to be here to let her know you may be being denounced by some, but we want you to change who goes up that ladder, not only to stop fires, but the ladder in the fire department. Let us have some words from the commissioner, the fire commissioner, Laura Kavanaugh.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me. I thought a lot on my way over here, and I've thought a lot in the 4 months since I was appointed about how I got here. It remains the puzzle of my life that someone who was shy, introverted, and I don't think the Rev knows this, but who worked for years for candidates who were trying to make change. And so I stood in the back of that room, or I stood over here helping my candidates, always thinking, I'm meant to be in the back. I can never have a voice. I could never do that. I'm here to support that change. How would I ever come out and be in front of an issue? And none of that has really changed. But what I have come to realize is I was given the opportunity, and it's not about me. I have a moment. This is a moment, and I have to rise to it, despite my fears, thank you. And that I should be so lucky to have a voice. And maybe I should have thought all along that eventually that voice could be mine. But I just have to say it is such an extraordinary honor to be here. I am so grateful to Reverend Sharpton for giving me this forum. I'm so grateful for everyone here who has fought for justice for decades. When I was watching and admiring the fact that I could stand in front of you and talk about it, it is truly a blessing. And I can't say anything else. I never set out to make history, but history is here, and I am determined to keep it going. And a lot of what I think about every day, what motivates me, is to think it isn't about me. It's about everybody who came before me. I did not open this door alone. The door was open, And the door was open because of people like Wesley Williams, who founded the Vulcan Society. The door is open because of Regina Wilson, the current president of the Vulcan Society, the first woman to lead the organization of Black firefighters. I am here because in 1982, 40 women sued to get on the job. And I am here because of the officers, including the one sitting right next to me, who literally stand alongside me every day, those female officers lifting me up. They opened that door for me. And it is my obligation to open a little bit further because they got me here, and to make it a little bit easier and a little bit more possible for the next person to open it even further, for them to go farther. And that is really what I think about every single day, that for all of them in the middle of their fight, it was not popular, it was brutal, it was not welcomed. And yet, we talk now about all the extraordinary progress that they've made. And so they inspire me every day. They inspire me because they did what was hard. They did it when it wasn't popular, and because of them, I can stand here. I can open this door a little bit further, and I can make it a little bit easier for everybody who comes after me. We can see real change in the fire department because of the legacy that I am following and hopefully passing the baton off to. I'd also say thank you. What motivates me every single day, it's how I came up in politics, is always working for the person who is sitting in front of you, who is doing the hard work. What motivates me every day is when someone comes in my office and says that they were bullied or harassed or not welcomed in their firehouse. They're the ones that I work for. They're the ones I take on this fight for. When an EMT or a paramedic comes to me and says that they can't afford to make ends meet because of the amount of money that they're paid to do a dangerous job, they are the ones that I work for. Every time a firefighter, an EMT, or a paramedic says they don't have what they need to do their job, that they need to see conditions be better at work in order to show up and do a dangerous and sacrificial job, they are the ones that I work for. The New York City Fire Department is a phenomenal place that does extraordinary work, but a great place can be better. And I will never accept in the fire department, my fire department family, anyone having those experiences, period, full stop. This place will be welcome to everyone. So I want to thank not only Reverend Sharpton, but the mayor who mentioned, Deputy Mayor Phil Banks, and everyone who has stood alongside me. I cannot say how much it means to have solidarity in this moment. I was raised in a community. It is a community that makes a difference. It is a community that makes change possible. And I am so, so grateful to have all of you standing alongside me. I could not do it without you. It simply would not be possible if we did not do this together. We can be stronger together, tougher together, and with solidarity, I believe we can accomplish anything. And what you're doing today is you're telling everyone who came before me that their sacrifices were worth it. You're telling everybody who's in the fight today to keep going because you will lift them up and it will be the right thing to do. And you're telling everyone in the future that when it gets hard, someone will be there to stand alongside them to make it easier and to make it possible. It is that commitment to solidarity that I will have for my entire career. It is why I'm certain that change will come. And to use the Rev's words, I am in this fight whether it is in season or out of season. I am in this fight in this job and every other job I have from here on forward. This is not just a moment in time. It is a fight I am committed to for the entirety of my career because I have been raised and brought up and supported in my political life by people who have done the same, and I owe it to them to give it back to them. So thank you.
Give her a hand. Fire Commissioner Laura Kavanaugh. And many, like she said, she must continue to work with Vulcan Society and others. Let's welcome Impact Television on around all over the country. And many in the community working with the commissioner and Deputy Mayor Banks, of course, and the mayor. I see Reverend that's Reverend Dr. Jacques DeGraff just walked in. Now, DeGraff know we start at 9 o'clock, so he must have had a prayer meeting somewhere this morning. But we're glad to see him come in. Let me say this, the National Action Network's convention starts on April the 12th through the 15th. And as stated, we've got a very tight and very clear focus on keeping and repairing what has happened to Dr. King's dream. We've never had the assault on voting rights and criminal justice like we're seeing it before, and they're being unapologetic about it. So at this convention, we've got some of the experts and some of those that have succeeded in different areas. I was saying in the back, we have Tyler Perry will be there on opening day. He's getting the cultural award. He'll be there. And Kerry Washington, the actress, some of y'all know her from Scandal or something else. And she and I are doing a fireside chat on the power of voting. Magic Johnson is coming in, talk about how he went from an NBA member of the Hall of Fame to one of the leading black entrepreneurs in the world. He's going to do contractors. People don't know a lot of black businesses, brown businesses, they helped to redo the Kennedy Airport that we helped to fight for. CJ knows National Action Network was part of that. Y'all, whoever's seated is seated. Sir, listen to me. If they can't sit down, they can't sit down. I don't need a whole lot of moving around. They usher till 10 o'clock. I told y'all I was going to embarrass y'all that. Whoever's seated, seated. Whoever's standing, let them stand. They get here on time next time. Amen, go right there. I don't like no moving around while I'm speaking. That's how Malcolm got killed. Y'all start moving around. Don't be making no funny moves in here. I work out every morning. I don't want nobody. I told Phil Banks, I was going through the airport about 3 months ago, and the guy said to me, I see you got big guy Chris Ford walking, big bodyguards with you to protect you from all us. He's got on a MAGA button. I said, no, I keep them around me to keep me off of you. Because you say the wrong thing, they got to make sure I don't lose my cool. They ain't here to protect me from you. They there for your help. So keep talking now. So that's why I tell you on Saturday morning, once I get up, I don't care if you're in the bathroom, you're going to stay there till I get finished. Don't be making no funny moves. So Magic Johnson and them got part of the contract to redo Kennedy. They will be there talking about the contracts that are available in the airports that Magic and others have done. So many will be with us. All of it free. We do not charge registration fees to our convention, but you need to pre-register. We already have hundreds that have already registered. You that are watching me on Impact Television, listening on the radio stations and on social media, go right now to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or you can call the toll-free number 1-877-626-4651, and you can register by calling in. We'll sign you up. Before I go to our next guests, who are going to be part of the convention, I want us in Harlem to recognize that a couple of days ago, we celebrated the 91st birthday of Hazel Dukes. Hazel Dukes is the New York State president of the NAACP and has been a real partner with this organization and a real friend. She's my big sister. And when I was younger, she was my younger mama. We done come through decades together. And people always trying to say, Hazel, what'd you think about this with Sharp? Sharp, we will never be separate. And because we understand the struggle. We may come at the same issue from different angles, but just like they meet at night, we meet at night. National Action Network, thank God for 91 years of giving us Hazel Duke. And they're renaming a street for her today in Roslyn, Long Island, in honor of Hazel. And Reverend Malcolm Bird, who pastors Mother AME Zion, and he's on staff here at NAN. He's representing NAN at the street changing today. Several weeks ago, the nation was stunned watching the video of an unarmed young black man in Memphis beaten by police, stopped for a reason we still don't know. To be beaten like he was beaten, and no one even knows the reason that they stopped him. No one could ever explain that, but no one bears the burden more than his parents. And when Attorney General Crump called me, and I had already seen the tape, I can tell you in the 15 to 20 years that I've been working with Ben Crump, and the organization has, he has never misled us. I got some lawyers that call me and I tell them, call Hardy, which means I don't trust you. A couple of y'all here today, now y'all know what it means. But Ben Crump call, I know it's been vetted, checked out, under the radar, over the, all of that. And Kareem with him, I really ain't worried about it. Because he ain't getting in no mess. So I just say what time and where. But when I met the parents, and Gwen will tell you, you can meet families. No family prepares to be a victim. Nobody gets up in the morning and say, I want my loved one to be the next big issue. So you meet families as they are, and you try to deal with them because you have family, and know that all kinds of families got different kind of personalities. I tell Crump and Hardy all the time that I can deal with families that's out there because my family's out there. I got cousins right now that security know if they show up at the convention to lock them in the room. And they my cousin, but I know how they act. And don't let them in the banquet, because they're going to have a high water pants and platform shoes, and it's 2023. So I know about families. You can't have a crazier family than mine. But I've not met a more stable, committed, sincere family than the Nichols family. They've had to deal with a lot of media. They've had to deal with a lot of profiles. And I'm telling you, mom and daddy, none of that mean nothing to them. They do it because they want to see justice, and they're going back into their world. They've not tried to act like they Beyonce. Some of y'all use tragedies for stardom. They want tragedy to lead to justice so others won't have it. And I was telling them in the office that both of them have never said anything that made us have to cover it up. Well, let me explain this. They speak from the heart. And when they're here to do something with spite, And they said, no, Ben Crump doesn't come through New York on a Saturday without coming here. They said, well, we going to the rally with you. They'll be on my show tonight, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC, Politics Nation. If that sounded like a plug, it was. But I wanted, since they came by, for them to say hello to the House of Justice, and then Attorney General Crump, and then right after the rally, we're going to finish in about a half hour, we're going to have a press conference right here on the stage, so the press can. So at the end of the rally, y'all don't come up to try to shake hands first. Let the press do the Q&A, and then we'll do the handshakes. But won't you welcome to the House of Justice, to Harlem, Ravon Wells and Rodney Wells, the parents of Tyree Nichols. Give them a hand.
Good morning. First of all, I'd like to thank Reverend Al Sharpton for inviting us today, National Action Network. This has been a very difficult time for our family. On January 7th, my son was murdered by the Memphis Police Department. They say he died January 10th, but he was actually murdered on January 7th. I'm still trying to process all of this, and it hasn't been easy. I have my good days, I have my bad. But the only thing that keeps me going, that I can truly say, is all the prayers that I'm receiving from all of you beautiful people. That's keeping our family up. And in my heart, I just feel like my son, he had to be sacrificed for the greater good. That's the only explanation that I have as the reason why all this is happening. Because he was such a good person. He was a free-spirited person. Tyree was one of those people, if everybody went to the right, he went to the left. He was just one of those individuals that he didn't follow what other people did. He followed what he wanted to do. He was an inspiring photographer. And those people, those Memphis police officers took our son away from us.
That's all right. Go ahead, Ray.
Hello, New York.
Hey. Hey.
Thank you for inviting us. I just wanted to say that through all of this, me and my wife have been through a lot. Our family did not deserve what happened to our son, especially at the hand of black men.
My Lord. Say it.
I'm not going to say policemen because all policemen are not bad. We have bad apples in that bunch.
That's right.
What we are here and what we'll continue to do is fight for justice for our son, justice for all sons and daughters who were killed, senseless. Whether it was police brutality or some fool in the street with a gun that don't have nothing else to do.
Amen. Amen, right.
This has been a real struggle. We just wanted to live a normal life. Go to work, come home, watch sports. That's what we do. Our life has been turned upside down. Our kids' lives have been turned upside down. But what this has done for our family is to want us to continue to become activists. After our son gets justice, we have to seek justice for other sons and daughters. Because our son will get justice. And I will end by saying thank you, New York, for your support
And your hospitality.
and hospitality. And not just New York, the whole world.
Yes. The whole world.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Attorney General Ben Crump.
I have to say, Rev, you got to say it for me one time, because, every time we come to a rally, you say no justice, no peace. So unless you say that, I can't start.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
All right.
Thank you, mentor. What do we want? When do we want it? Now. See, I'm a good student of my mentor, Reverend Al Sharpton. Now, every time I come to New York and I get to come to the House of Justice, my heart is full. Seeing Reverend Al, seeing Michael Hardy, Rachel, Ashley Dominique, Corey Wise. It renews my battery to go back on the front line and fight harder. And so that's why I want to thank you all, House of Justice. Reverend Al Sharpton is the greatest civil rights leader of our generation right now. Because he always answers the bell and we get results. That is the critical, important thing. We're not here just for the cameras, as he and I often talk. We're here trying to make history to uplift our people, our culture, and our communities. And so before I make my brief comments, I would say he always answers the bell. It was now 11 years, Reverend Al, when I first came to the House of Justice with the parents of Trayvon Martin. And then after that, we brought the parents of Michael Brown, who was killed in Ferguson, to the House of Justice. You remember Miss Gwen Carr? It was right around this time we were fighting for Eric. And then we brought the family of Stephon Clark to the House of Justice, who was killed in his grandmother's backyard. We brought the family of Terrence Crutcher from Tulsa, Oklahoma, walking away with his hands up on video, and the white policewoman shot him in the back. We brought the family of Botham Jean. Y'all remember Botham Jean, who was in his apartment in Dallas eating ice cream, watching football, minding his own business, and the white policewoman allegedly comes in the wrong apartment, shoots and kills him, and then Reverend Al, she has the audacity to say self-defense. Well, it wasn't your house. And now we have the honor of bringing the parents of Tyree Nichols to the House of Justice to get justice, because we know when we want justice, we come to the House of Justice. And so, as Reverend Al said, there's some breaking news today that we're going to have to deal with, and we will deal with it. But I would be remiss if I didn't at least acknowledge what Mr. Wells talked about and Miss Rovine. And Miss Rovine, I still think, as Reverend Al and I talk often, what you said to the world and even to the President of the United States when you had that phone call with him, you have to believe that your son was sent here on assignment. Yeah, because she said that's the only way she can deal with it, because she got to believe some greater good is going to come from this. So I want to believe with Rev's leadership and Gwen Carr and George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and all these families joining Tyree Nichols' family, we're finally going to get the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act passed so we can try to prevent some of these unnecessary, these unjustifiable and unconstitutional killings of our people. We gotta believe in that greater good, Ravon, so we praying with you every day. Every day. And then finally, as Mr. Wells said, this was troubling on every level. Every level. When you look at that video of that just inhumanity of them brutally killing Tyree Nichols, the people who were supposed to protect and serve him. And the fact that they were black police officers, it was troubling on every level. But as Reverend Al and I said at the homegoing services, well, when Vice President Kamala Harris was present, we said, now this is the blueprint. This is the blueprint, because when it was 5 black police officers, they terminated them, they arrested them, and they charged them in less than 20 days. 20 days. So now, Reverend Al, going forward, I don't care whether the officer is black or white. The Tyree Nichols blueprint is the precedent now. And when they kill us and they unjustifiably brutalize us, and it's on video, we expect in 20 days, when it's white officers, that you arrest, terminate, and charge them with murder in the same way that you did these black police officers. We can't have 2 forms of justice, one for black police officers and one for white police officers. We have to have equal justice for all of our children. And the very fact that the police chief, and I give her a lot of credit for this, Reverend Al.
Yes, sir.
The black police chief, she said that it was important that the community see us act swiftly, that we move swiftly towards justice. Well, when they killed Eric Gardner, it was important to the community that they move swiftly towards justice. When they killed Michael Brown in Ferguson, it was important that they showed the community they was moving swiftly towards justice. When they killed Botham Jean, it was important that they showed the community they moved swiftly towards justice. When they killed Tamir Rice in Cleveland, Ohio on the playground, it was important for the community that we saw them move swiftly towards justice. When they killed Stephon Clark in Sacramento, California, in his grandmother's backyard, it was important that they showed the community we was moving swiftly towards justice. When they killed Trayvon Martin in Florida, it was important that they showed the community they were moving swiftly towards justice. When they killed Sandra Bland in Houston, Texas, it was important that we showed we were moving swiftly towards justice. When they killed Atiana Jefferson, because we can never forget our black women, it was important that they showed the community that they were moving swiftly towards justice. And when they killed our sister Breonna Taylor in Louisville, Kentucky, it was important that they showed the community that they moved swiftly towards justice. And what was the difference in most of these cases that we have shown where they did not move swiftly towards justice? It was because it was white police officers killing black people. And so we say again that we can count to 20. And when they kill us, I don't care if it's a white police officer or a black police officer. We want to see the same justice no matter what the race is. No matter what the race is. And so, Reverend Al, before I rest my case, I'll say this, Richmond, Virginia. There's another disturbing video that's going to be released. Ivo Otinio, a brother from Kenya, having a mental health crisis. Reverend Al, he was in handcuffs and he had leg irons on. He was naked. And it's so hard to keep seeing all these videos of them killing unarmed black men. I mean, the prosecutor charged all of them with murder, and the video shows they literally smothered him to death by putting the weight of their bodies on him. And then, Reverend Al, almost 3 years after George Floyd, man, if any police officer should know that you don't put your knee on our necks, it should be clear. But you see in this video, the officers putting their knee on his neck and smothering him to death. So, Rev, I am sad that I keep calling, and I know you're going to answer the bell, because just like we fighting for justice for Tyree Nichols and so many others, we're going to have to fight for Ivo in Richmond, Virginia. And you'll see what I mean next week when that video come out. And hopefully, Reverend Al, you will come and preach the eulogy to give the necessary attention, not only here in America, but most of his kinfolk, who are also our kinfolk, are back in Kenya. And if you don't come, Rev, and make it a national funeral, then his family over in Africa might not get to see his homegoing service. So once again, Reverend Al, I say thank you for answering the bell. I thank you, House of Justice, because y'all have renewed my commitment to go out on the front line and speak up for our people, stand up for our people, and fight for our people. Because if we don't fight for our people, we can't expect nobody else to fight for our people. God bless you.
Give them a hand, Attorney Ben Crump and the parents of Tyree Nichols. And I spoke, Ben called the other day, and I spoke on the phone with the mother of this young man killed in Virginia, and told her National Action Network would do whatever we need to do to help that family. You know, a lot of families, no family doesn't plan to have a funeral. And some of us need help to have funerals. And I can tell you, and Ben can tell you, Nan has helped to provide a lot of the resources and never asks for nothing back. Because that's what we do. And we're going to help with that, and if they want me to come, I will definitely be there. And let me say this, and I'm going to do about 10 minutes and I'm gone. Let me say this. I think that we have got to understand that this is a long-term struggle. When I was listening to Ben talk, a lot of us don't understand that this is not going to be 1 or 2 marches and it's over. I meet a lot of young activists that say, well, ain't nothing happened in 2 years. It took 9 years from the Montgomery bus boycott to get the '64 Civil Rights Act. Rosa Parks sat out on the bus. They had to boycott a year. Y'all can't boycott 2 days. Some of y'all waiting for me to stop now so you can go to lunch. They said it is better to walk in dignity than ride in shame for 364 days. You got to be determined to fight till you win. And you can't put a calendar on your win. I remember I was talking to some young folk down in Selma, and they were saying to me, we saw that Reverend Jackson there with you, he's one of your mentors, and you were helping him with his wheelchair, and he had passed the baton to you, and one day you're going to pass the baton. I said, first of all, y'all are using symbols that explain why y'all got it confused. I'm saying that to some of the young folk in here. A baton is held by cheerleaders. That's the folk that come out before the game and they whirl and swirl the baton. So by you asking somebody to pass you the baton, mean you don't intend to get in the game. You just want to be seen. Throw your legs and throw your baton. I ain't got no baton to pass to you because I'm not a cheerleader. I'm in the game. And in the game, you pass the ball, not the baton. And you pass the ball so we can score. That's the problem we got, is too many baton activists. Want to twirl. Want to be seen. But some of us got to get on the field, which means we're going to get tackled. We're going to get attacked. We're going to get bruised. But we got to keep our eye on the goal line. Sometimes we might have to pass the ball to somebody else. But keep your eye on the prize and score for the people. You ain't been no activist if you ain't been tackled. You haven't been no activist if you have not been attacked. You have not been no activist if you've not been scandalized, even by your own. Even by your own. Even some of the families will be getting angry at the other members of the family that's on TV like you wanted to be on TV. But if you believe in what you're doing, God don't test folks unless He getting ready to lift them. Reverend Bird, I preached last week in Maryland, Clinton, Maryland, for our national board member, Delman Coates. And I told them that the harder the test, the higher the grade. I used to get concerned when I would go through something. And I would say, Ravon, I don't know why I'm going through this. I'm trying to do what's right. And they in the papers lying on me and all of that. But then I learned when I was in junior high school, I had to pass a higher test to go to high school. Then a higher test to go to college. You can't pass a kindergarten test in college. So I learned now every time something happened, I say, God must be getting ready to graduate me because He wouldn't test me unless He was getting ready to promote me. And sometimes what looks like a misfortune is your way to your next fortune. I was thinking while Ravon was talking, there's a story, I'll leave y'all with this, story in the Bible about a young man, Joseph. Joseph was a dreamer. And Joseph used to tell his father of his dreams. You know, all kids are not alike. That's why you don't love your children equally. You love them adequately because some children need more love than the others. Some need affection. Then you got some kids don't want you to put their arms around them. You got to learn your children. Joseph was a dreamer. And his brothers was jealous of him. There's nothing more deadly than a jealous folk. Folk just jealous of you. You be telling them how God bless you and they be getting envious of you. just get mad. Some of y'all get mad. Somebody got a brand new pair of shoes. You don't even know what they had to struggle to get them, but you mad. Joseph's brothers were jealous of him. And they were so jealous that they were out one day and they saw him coming. They said, here he comes, the dreamer. Let's slay him and take his coat of many colors, and we'll dip it in the blood of one of these animals. We'll kill one of the animals, dip it in the blood, and go back and tell Daddy that one of the animals devoured him. And we'll see what happens to his dreams then. One of the brothers said, we don't got to kill him. Let's just throw him in that pit. And we'll take the coat back and tell Daddy that he was devoured by the animal. And they threw their brother in a pit. And there are going to be times, Kavanaugh, they're going to throw you in a pit. There are going to be times in life that you're going to be in situations you can't see your way out of. You're in a pit. There are going to be times that seem like the sun won't shine for you. You're in a pit. There are going to be times that it look like tomorrow will never come. You're in a pit. But the key, I'm talking to somebody watching us today, the key is when you're in a pit, don't get pitiful. I've been in a pit, but I never was pitiful. Guy come by the office this week that went to high school with me. And Hardy sat and met with him. He had done well. And he said, you know, Al, I never thought you'd be where you are. I watched the controversies you went through. I watched them denounce you. And then I was watching the TV last week, and the president and you he was at your breakfast. I said, because even though they've kept throwing me in a pit, I never got pitiful. And I got rid of all of those around me that wanted to have a pity party. Because I don't need a pity party in the pit. I don't need you feeling sorry for me. I don't need you patting me on the back. Because I learned that if I call on God, even in the depths of the pit, that I can turn my pit into a pit stop. And the same brothers that threw him in the pit, years later, Joseph went to jail, got out, still dreaming. And they made Joseph the governor of a province under the king. And the brothers didn't know when they went to see the governor to ask him for bread and food because famine had hit the land. He looked down and recognized his brothers, told people to step back. Y'all leave me alone. I want to talk to these guys alone, all of his attendants. And he asked them after everyone left, he asked the young men, how's your father? And they said, why are you asking about our father? He said, you don't recognize me. I'm your brother. How come my message to you today is don't look at me in the pit, because that's not the end of the story. But when you see me again, God's going to take me out of the pit. Hold on, the story's not over. When you see me again, God will reach in the pit, and the first will be last, and the last will be first, and the lion and the lamb gonna lay down together. God will make a pitiful situation a pit stop. Stand up, black man. Stand up, black woman. This is our day. This is our time. Justice for Tyree. We're gonna fight until we win. God will. God will. God will make a way. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. I've had some good days. I've had some hills to climb. I've had some lonely days. It's lonely in the pit. And some sleepless nights. But when I think about, when I look around and see things over, all of my good days outweighed my bad days. I won't complain. Sometimes the clouds hung low. I could hardly see the road. Sing it for me a little bit.
I've had some good days. I've had some hills to climb. I've had some weary days. Yeah, some sleepless nights. But as I look around, and I begin to think things over. All of my good days, you see, they outweigh the bad days. So I won't complain. Sometimes the clouds hang low, and I can hardly see the road. It's caused me to ask the question, Lord, why so much pain? But oh, He knows what's best for me. See, sometimes these weary eyes, they just can't see. So I'll just say, thank you, Lord. I won't complain. You see, God has been good to me. He's been so good to me. He's been better to me than this whole world could ever be. God's been good. God's been good. So good, so good to me. He cried my tears away, and He turned my midnight into day. So instead of complaining, I've learned how to lift my hands, look up towards heaven, and say, thank you, Lord. I've been lied on, but thank you, Lord. I've been talked about, but thank you, Lord. I've been misunderstood, but thank you, Lord. 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 I won't
Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Singing like you mean it. Singing like you mean it. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. Everybody's singing. One last time, y'all. One last time, y'all. One last time, y'all. open the doors of the movement. There may be someone that comes to the rallies, or hears us on radio, watches us on television, but never joined National Action Network. There's no better time than to come right now and just come to me, and we'll sign you up to the National Action Network. Come on, if you're here and not a member and want to join right now. Come on, everybody singing. Come on, everybody sing. Everybody singing. Come on, sing it like you mean it. Sing it like you mean it. Sing it like you mean it. Everybody singing. Everybody sing. Everybody singing. One more time, y'all. One more time, y'all. One more time, y'all. All right, thank you. Everybody take your seat. I'm gonna raise our offering. He's organizing the press. I'm gonna raise the offering and do our press conference and then taking our members and dismiss. Just 1 minute, let me raise our offering. And then we're gonna have Ben and all of us come and do our press conference. I want everybody to give quickly. I don't want Commissioner Kavanaugh, Deputy Mayor Banks to give a dime. I don't want y'all to be questioned whether y'all gave any city money to us, so y'all just keep your seats. Everybody else, I want y'all to give, but I refuse to feed into the tabloid stuff. Phil Banks gave Sharpton, so we ain't doing that. He ain't giving me nothing. Neither is the commissioner. Ain't no fire funds in here. Now write that in the paper. All right. I need about 10 people quickly. Don't make me beg, we got company. I need about 10 people to give $100 or more, come quickly. Guardians, $100. Minister Winston Gilchrist, $100. Head of the Harlem Chamber of Commerce, Lloyd Williams, $100. Anonymous, $100. 107 from the Women's Auxiliary. Reverend Jacques DeGraff, $100. Attorney Smelcom, $100. Herman Francis, $100. All right, 50s, 50. Wait a minute, whoa. We got a big 100 coming. The brother of George.